Defying expectations, EU carbon emissions dropped to 30-year lows.
Here's a summary of the article.
More for you. Emissions fell in the power sector and across the economy. Total CO2 emissions have been falling since July, pulled by dramatic reductions in fossil gas use in industry and buildings. European emissions fell to less than 8 metric tons per day, compared to more than 10 mt per day in 1990. The drop in emissions might have been more pronounced had France been able to restart more idle nuclear plants. The first half of December had colder weather than the year before. Yet, total emissions remained well below 2021 level, showing that the reduction in gas and electricity use wasn't mainly due to weather. Power sector emissions started increasing again in December, as the sector continues to be plagued by the poor performance of nuclear, and wind conditions were also very unfavorable, but reduced gas use outside the power sector has kept emissions falling overall. The production increases are dwarfed by a dramatic drop in overall power generation, led by a drop in fossil gas. Even though the energy crisis sparked by Russia's invasion of Ukraine has propped up global coal demand in 2022 by making natural gas far more expensive, IEA said, the relatively small increase in coal emissions has been considerably outweighed by the expansion of renewables. CREA's findings are based on its near real-time tracking of EU CO2 emissions.
This post received a score of 12,000, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Is this because a lower amount of gas imports from Russia or
more working from home, warmer winters reducing power demand, repressed economies demanding less production, a bit more renewable energy production? Compared to 1, 2 and 3 decades ago? A lot more renewable energy production. Otherwise totally agreed, it's a lot of factors.
For the EU, US, and Canada, every wind turbine, solar panel, and replacement to more energy-efficient light bulb, appliance is less money to Putin's war.
Thank you to Russia for helping us speed up the process of eliminating use of fossil fuels, Russia playing checkers while everyone else playing chess.
If this war actually proves to be a meaningful catalyst for long-term fossil fuel reduction, I am 100% sure. Putin saved the world, but he had to be secret about it because deep state will be a conspiracy theory.
I mean, I don't think it was intentional, but didn't similar things happen in WW2? It saved the global economy.
Very much so. World War II is an enormous part of why the Depression ended.
At least in the US, the Great Depression had already ended and we went through a minor recession when the Roosevelt administration eased up on some of the interventions too aggressively before war spending really started to accelerate. The economy was growing again by 1932, and entered a brief, mild recession around 1937 shortly after hitting pre-depression levels of economic activity.
You mean if you make an effort to change you can fix things?
Doesn't sound right. Sounds more like a conspiracy you say here.
They are taking our eyes away from something. I can't think of a single other event happening in Europe right now. Then their work is complete.
EU is probably the most surprising example of how well green policies can work.
It doesn't surprise me at all. Encourage more clean energy installation plus encourage conserving power use, greater than reduce CO2 emissions. Fairly easy line of logic to understand.
An unexpected bonus from Putin.
Really, we just have a really mild winter right now. Temperature in Warsaw, Poland was 17 C today, same as day temp in LA on same day. In a winter. This shit's not normal, but I'm enjoying it.
Hope the EU can come to an agreement about carbon taxes on imports from places which are more reliant on fossil fuels for their industrial production. This transition has not been cheap, and carbon taxes, if structured properly, can pay for it going forward, as well as give an incentive to other countries to transition.
The EU has announced this about a week ago.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.